Welcome to Mike's apartment, where we discuss cuisine, drinks, and a little bit of comedy along the way. I am Mike. I am your host. This is Thom, my co-host. Thom, how are you doing?
Too bad on this fine Tuesday evening. How about you, Mike?
I'm doing great. Well, tonight we are going to review Monaco's. Very common at your liquor store and or gas station, wherever you buy your booze. These are pretty much around, and we will be talking about the very popular Stargate franchise. In this case, Thom actually knows a lot more about it than I do. I will try to keep up because I've only really seen one of the things. But I guess first, without further ado, I mean, no need to stand on ceremony.
Should we talk a little?
Oh, sure.
Share my little
Yeah. Go ahead. Yep.
So, Wikipedia didn't have a lot of information on this. So, if anybody out there has some good, reliable sources and want to update, the article or help them keep it updated, that would be great. But without any further ado, Monaco is a beer cocktail that is popular in France, made of equal parts lager and carbonated lemonade, along with a dash of grenadine, and is best enjoyed cold. I think ours might have some different mixes of stuff, but I didn't look at the ingredients. But anyways, the history, the creation of the Monaco is commonly attributed to George Booth, who was inspired by the cocktail Snakebite.
Did you say John Wilkes Booth, the assassin of Abraham Lincoln?
This is why he did what he did, was because of Monaco.
It drove him to it.
The guy's name was George Booth. I almost said George Bush. But George Booth, who was inspired by the cocktail Snakebite, which is made from cider and beer. The name of the drink reportedly derives from the red and white colors of the flag of Monaco, the country, which is in France. I looked it up, but anyways, so it's I'm a little excited to try this.
So it's not made by E.J. Galloway. Is that what you're trying to tell? Gallo, yeah. Sorry, Gallo.
I every time I look one of these drinks up, I seriously am expecting to see E.J. Gallo.
So am I. When you don't say it, I'm like, what the hell? All right, do we want to?
No, unless somebody finds some more reputable sources that says, yeah, it's a.
All right, are we?
So we're gonna start with tequila lime crush.
All right, cheers, Thom.
Cheers.
Raise it up. All right. Good. Yeah. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Maybe sip on it a little bit here just to get a full flavor, but.
Or chug on it here. No. Yeah. It's
okay. I think I got that one.
Okay.
Are we going to do the same thing we did with the others, with it, just like
aggregate
taste them all and do a yeah.
What you want to do? Sun Crush next, or you want to do a different?
Yeah, because we both have Sun Crush.
Yeah.
And then the last one, we each have a different one.
I mean, it smells fruity.
Mm-hmm.
Why does my Sun Crush look orange and your Sun Crush? Oh no, it's just Oh, I see. It starts orange at the top and goes down into red, sort of. Okay, I see. It's just the coloring.
Ready? I started to pour before I started to tip before I had it in my mouth.
This one's good. It's like what, orange flavored? I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
I guess the sun tastes like an orange in Monaco, anyways.
There is that orange taste to it.
I would love a vacation to Monaco. Oh man, what a nice place.
So my last one here is watermelon crush.
Oh, you only have 3. I actually have 4 flavors.
Yeah, I got a 6-pack, but it was just
Two
three
of.
different flavors.
I guess I'll try Tropic Rush next. Tropic Rush.
So, a lesson that I learned on the last can: get it to your mouth, then tip.
Outrageous what they demand of us with these drinks. It's good. Oh yeah, I like this Tropic Rush.
This one's all right.
I'm
I think I'm
feeling.
going to finish this one first and go back to the other ones because I think I like them more. But
Whew, I guess I'll open up a fourth one because it doesn't it doesn't really matter at this point. This one is the mango peach. Um, I like this one. It's sweet like a mango, but it kind of has like that, that peach sweetness, which is like a different type of sweetness. So they kind of, you're getting double sweeted. It's pretty good.
yeah, I wish I would have gotten a fourth one. I thought maybe they
Sorry.
had more in a different another one in there, but they didn't. It's just the three.
Oh, no big deal.
But
Uh,
I have at least I have 6 cans if I need more. But
yeah, you got plenty of extra. Um, so do you have an opinion? What are you
yeah, I
thinking so
think
far?
so. Excuse me. Sorry, I got that
Yeah, it is a little.
carbonation. Ooh,
Yeah, it's a
man.
little something. All right, so Mike's apartment. We have a
Okay.
scale. 5 is the best. It's ambrosia. It's food of the gods. It's like the best of the best. 0 is shit. It is shit of the gods. We have never had a 0. Well, we've actually never had a 5. I've gotten close. I think I not on the
Yeah, you.
drinks, but on one of the other. What was it? Was it one of the preserves? I don't remember. But
Yeah, I
go
don't
back.
remember either.
Just go
You
back
gave
through
one
and
of the
watch all my videos.
You gave one of the drinks. I think you gave it like a 2 or something. You're like,
I was
I wouldn't even give it
close.
to bad relatives that came
I
over to
was,
stay.
yeah. Everyone watching, you'll just have. I'm not going to tell you which one. You're just going to have to go back
I,
through and watch them all.
I don't I
Watch
don't remember
out.
which one
Watch
it was.
hours
Yeah,
and hours of this show with no direction.
just find the drink that came closest to shit for Mike so far.
Oh man, it's
But
hard. I am I'm always kind of in the middle more. I'm never usually that far out on it. But all right,
yeah.
but go ahead. What do you what's your aggregate number, or what are you
So
thinking?
yeah, well, I was around a 3 for the Lime Crush and the Sun Crush.
Mhm.
And then the watermelon one was like below a 3. So I
Wow.
think
You usually
it's
love
like
watermelon. That's like one of your
I
favorite
know
flavors. Yeah,
the
usually.
watermelon drink we've had because we've had two other uh, drinks that had a watermelon flavor, and I liked those. But this one, I think I wonder. I'm trying to remember if the first one was carbonated or not. The second one, I think, was the Shack beatbox one. I think was watermelon, and that was more. Those drinks weren't carbonated; they were more like actual lemonade and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if that might be why I liked the
And
watermelon
the
there
other
more
one
than this.
was
But
that was the other ones we had the Four Locos that had the what was the other one that
no,
we
I
had
don't
one
think
of?
there's a
No, you're right,
watermelon.
not Four Locos. It was
Was it truly? No, 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 no. Or Buzzballs, maybe? I can't remember.
yeah, it was one of the yeah, I can't remember either to be honest. I think I'm thinking Buzz Balls, but
Somebody watching,
honestly,
go through our videos and find them and then post in the
I
comments
think
below.
yeah, I mean I'm sorry. I think we reviewed the Trulies like in March or April or
Yeah.
something, but it was a
I,
long time ago.
I,
I don't
I
remember.
think I think overall on the three that I tasted, I'm curious about the one that you tried that I didn't get. I'm curious, and not curious. I think I'd go with like a 3 between all three of them. Maybe a little lower, maybe a 2.9, maybe. I don't know. They're not with that watermelon one, which I'll finish it, but it's. I think that brings my rating down.
Yeah, I would say for me, around very close. I would say I'm just gonna say 2.75. They're good. They're definitely refreshing. If you're, you know, you're at like a party or a gathering, you got family, friends, neighbors, whatever. This is definitely something you could, offer people to drink and it would be fine. I wouldn't put it like as the best thing ever, but it's definitely a little bit above average for, people will enjoy it. I think you'll definitely have a crowd that will like what they're drinking.
Compared to like some of the other we've had, the alcohol content isn't necessarily as high. It's higher than beer from what you were saying. It's around 9%.
Yeah, these are all of mine are 9%. Yeah, normally with beer, you would look between 4.5 and 5.5. I mean, there are definitely stronger beers out there, usually imports, but yeah, like domestic beers are like around, 5%, somewhere in there. So these are about almost double.
I think the watermelon might be growing on me a little bit. Almost like the first few times I had coffee, I hated it. Put a little sugar and cream in there, make it a French vanilla cappuccino from Holiday, gas station.
Holiday gas station.
Coffee's great.
Yeah, I drink whatever swill we serve at work. I don't really judge it. It's free.
Do they serve drinks at work?
Not serve. They don't serve. I mean, it's available, but yeah, no. We get it for free, but yeah, no. I mean, they don't serve it to me. I mean, I have to go get it.
Well, wait, they don't have a drink cart at your work? Well, I mean, I don't have a drink cart at my work either. And I have to go up to the kitchen and get it.
And I don't have an assistant to like pour my drinks or to run and get me lunch. God, they treat me so horribly. No, I'm just kidding. I actually love my job. But anyway, that's a whole other story. All right. So we kind of got that out of the way. Yeah, and we're definitely within our time frame here. So I would say that's where we're at, everyone. This is definitely something good to drink. It's not bad by any means. We wouldn't say that it's the best of everything we've ever had by any, we don't mean, we're not saying that, but we are saying it's above average and it's definitely good. If you want something to serve,
technically it's below average. If we go lower than a 3,
yeah, a little bit below, but it's around. It's close enough to where you're not gonna.
And it's one of those things. They have enough different flavors, and when you get like say a group of people together, everybody's got different tastes.
Yeah.
So you can probably find something for anyone or everyone. But
definitely.
But yeah, and they weren't that expensive. I got a 6-pack for like in Minnesota. I don't know how much it was at where you're at. It was like $16, between $16 and $17 plus tax.
I got 4, not in a pack. I just picked out 4 flavors, and it was about that. Actually, they had a sale. There was like a 25-cent discount per can. For some reason, they offered that. I don't know why.
Maybe they're trying to get rid of the inventory.
Maybe, yeah. I'm not exactly sure, but either way, yeah, they had a discount on them, which may have in some small way influenced why I chose them this way. Going to the store, seeing the discount, that may have influenced me a little bit, but no.
Do you know how I make my decision on what we're going to try when it's my turn?
Oh,
I go into the liquor store. I close my eyes, have somebody direct me to an aisle, and then I put my hand out and just kind of knock a few things into the cart, pick one out at random, and that's how I do it.
Now, with your eyes closed, walking down like a random aisle, have you ever accidentally touched someone?
Well, I think I said this. I can't remember now 5 minutes ago, but I have somebody direct me. So I'm not like...
They never lead you astray.
I'm not it's an employee from the company, from the store, so they can't endanger customers. And I'm like, I'm doing this one way or other, so just
Thom, get me to... so aggressive.
Yeah.
So aggressive.
It's funny is the Monaco were on the bottom shelf, so I never would have picked those out.
You never would have known.
Even though I'm short and close to the ground.
Well, these ones were up high. So if you imagine a gas station, like the clear, transparent, the glass doors,
refrigerator doors.
Yeah, they were just up on the that little aisle they have that's like right behind the handles, the door handles. That's where these were. I don't know. Again, all right, doesn't make a huge difference, but all right. So let's jump ahead here. Let's just jump right into. Let's start with, since obviously the movie. You said 1990 is when Stargate came out.
I think that's what I was looking up on IMDb earlier. So because I for whatever reason I couldn't remember Kurt Russell and James Spader's names. My brain was whatever, and I think it said 90 for the movie.
So, like, what? If you think about it too, like, what are the high points are? So it's science fiction. So basically, anyone who doesn't know, Stargate is basically they discovered this gate, and it can lead to other worlds, other well, and in the case of SGU, they do travel across galaxies. It can lead to
universe.
different universes, different. I mean, it's like a constant like sci-fi show where instead of like in Star Trek where they have the transporter to beam down to the planets, or instead of whatever they can go through
from
these
one
gates.
gate to another. Yeah,
and I think they have transport technology though, right? They can beam, quote unquote, beam people up to ships and stuff, right? I'm pretty sure they can because they do that in SGU.
Yeah. So in the movie, they introduce those rings that come down, and then they teleport something like a flash of light comes down or goes up. If you're standing in there when it comes down, and you can. It doesn't. It's not just one way when you send. Like if you're sending people down, if those rings open up, they demonstrated that like people could run into where the rings came down, and then when the people came down, they were teleported up.
So it just reverses what was. It just reverses what was where. Okay. So it's kind of different from So in Star Trek, the difference is humans, or the sentient races like Vulcans, whatever, they invented the transporter technology. But in Stargate, they find ancient technology. In the original movie, it was Egypt. They discovered that in Egypt, like there was like that Egyptian culture. That's sort of where
on Abydos, the planet Abydos.
So,
which Abydos is something in Egyptian mythology too, isn't it?
If you say so, I don't know.
I don't remember. I've heard it, but I'm not very familiar with that. So, but anyways,
so basically, they discover ancient technology, and then humans sort of adapted. I think the other big difference is it's sort of a mixture of. It's almost always. They're a very military friendly show, and if people don't know, I was in the Army Reserve for 8 years. I never saw combat or anything like that, but yeah, I mean, I went through basic training and I went through AIT and all that other stuff in the Army. But usually in Stargate though, they usually have the Air Force is sort of the military group
branch.
Branch that they focus on, all the main characters. But yeah, they almost always though pair it with they have the military and then they have civilian scientists who sort of work together. And then that's like the two main characters, Daniel and Jack. They're the two main characters to start, and then all the other shows after that, they kind of show like a collaboration between scientists and the military. Usually, almost always, the United States is kind of also at the I mean, it is a Western American show. So
in SG1, they did in the later seasons kind of branch out to include like a worldwide government involvement in the Stargate program, but as far as the movie goes, so it's based on a real life theory that the pyramids were like landing platforms for these giant ships. And in the movie Stargate, it's just like a giant pyramid looking ship that lands on those. There's one, and then they discovered a ring, which was the Stargate. It was buried, and they had like a whatever kind of stone on top of it, whatever, and they discovered it. What was it in the 30s or something like that? And then they brought it back to the States, and they weren't quite sure how it worked. And then this guy Daniel Jackson, Doctor Daniel Jackson, James Spader in the movie, or Michael Shanks in the show. Um, his theories about the pyramids being landing platforms and stuff like that. They decided they wanted to bring him in, and he figured out that the ring has different symbols on it.
Chevrons,
And
right? There's
yeah, they call them chevrons when they're turning in and they lock in. Because what happens is it's like they're basically, I think it's 7 symbols, and it basically is an address.
It's 8, and then they find the 9th chevron in SGU, right?
Yeah,
so I think it's 8 usually, right?
I think at first, so they had 9, but for the movie and like start SG1 until later seasons, or maybe later seasons, I think they discovered that they could use the 8th, but they needed extra power for that.
Same thing with the 9th. Yeah, they needed that.
And the 9th, they ended up blowing up
Icarus.
A planet.
They called it an Icarus-style planet. They found another one later. So, I mean, yeah, because and I hate to say it, I can only really reasonably only discuss SGU. I'm going to be honest. We could talk about SG1 a little bit and Atlantis.
I'm talking about the movie and kind of
the original movie. The original movie, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so because there are some other things about that they discovered with like the different chevrons in later shows, but I'm kind of skipping that for now because I'm focusing on the movie.
Sure.
So.
And that's a common theory, though, too. Like, it's not just a Stargate thing. Like, a lot of people think that those ancient, like, not just Egypt, but like the Aztecs or the other different, or the Babylonians or whatever, all the different, like the ziggurats or the pyramids that got built. People have always kind of thought, and maybe they're wrong or right. I mean, I'm not trying to say something either way, but what I will say is people have often thought that those civilizations had help, right? Like, or they had, you know what I mean? Like, there was some kind of something behind, what they were doing. And that's not a Stargate.
Predator. Yep. The Alien versus Predator established that what really happened.
That was an amazing. I will say that I have actually I could tell you that movie almost perfectly. That I love that movie. That was almost a perfect movie in my opinion. But
I liked it. But Fifth Element was way better, even though you pissed on it.
I did. Anyone who wants to see that, go back and watch.
Yeah.
We may do an AVP future show, though. I
thought we talked about that at one point. Anyways,
we may have talked about it, but I don't think we. Yeah, back to Stargate. Yeah. So that theory is like something that was out there. Yeah.
So they didn't realize in the movie they can go back and forth between one place. They only knew about Abydos, and they didn't even know if they sent somebody over there if they could come back. And so they send a team with Colonel O'Neill or Kurt Russell, Dr. Jackson, played by James Spader, and then like a bunch of like Marines or whatever. And I think Jackson was the only scientist, right? And he was also a linguist. And so they get to this planet. And the people there speak a dialect of like ancient Egyptian that he's able to kind of, I think, figure out, right? And then he that night at dinner or whatever, he finds out that he's married to the high priest, whatever, daughter. He's like, "Hey, you're married now because they did something." He's like, "What?"
Something.
Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah,
that they
are. Yep, you remember.
Got married unknowingly. Yeah, okay. So, but anyways, then this giant ship comes. I think it was Ra, right? Was it Ra in the movie? And God of the Sun, right? And then the ship lands. Everybody is in the little chamber where the Stargate is. I don't think they found any kind of controls for it at that point, right? So they couldn't figure out how to get back home. Or did they have a dial home device?
I'm not sure about that, but I remember they sent a bomb through, right? And that's why they
brought a bomb to blow up in case they couldn't,
So you're right. Well, then you're right then, because they wouldn't have bought the bomb if they couldn't have gotten back, right? Because there would have been no reason to.
No, they brought it. That's why they brought So Colonel O'Neill was in retirement after his son accidentally shot himself with O'Neill's gun
Hmm.
and killed himself. So you don't see that in the movie. You just that's or maybe they do some flashbacks with the kid. I don't
I'm
remember,
not sure.
but I believe that all happened right before the movie. So because he was like retired, and he was up on his roof, look, and had a telescope set up, and like Colonel whatever was like, hey, and he's like, and O'Neill says, I'm retired, and he's like, you're coming in. So then they go to the planet Abydos, and uh, and they everybody,
But they bring the bomb though, right? Like they bring the bomb
they brought
because
the
in
bomb. They were
case,
gonna blow it up.
yeah, in
They
case
were
they
gonna
need it.
yeah they were gonna blow it up whether or not they could get back. And
Whether or not they could get back.
well, first off, they wanted to see if it was safe and if they could maintain
Yeah,
control or whatever. And then if worst case scenario, blow up the bomb. If you can get home first, great.
yeah.
If you can't, it's a suicide mission. But it's a handful of Marines and Daniel Jackson who can ascend anyways. But I'm kidding.
But O'Neill was in the Air Force, right? He was in Air
O'Neill
Force.
was in the Air Force, and I think they selected him because he was willing to. He had nothing left to lose, you know. So because I think his
Yeah.
wife had left him at that point, and so anyways, yeah. So that was kind of the setup for the movie. I don't know if we want to spoil it. I mean,
It won't matter too much. I mean, I would say like a lot of the premise for the TV show franchises that kind of spawned after that. I mean, it's not much to ruin. I mean, they meet aliens. What is it? Goald? Goal? How do you,
gold.
Gold? How do you
Those are the
pronounce it?
those are the soldiers
Yeah.
that had those like head things that kind of came up and looked like the
And they have these
whatever this.
staves that can like shoot or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what those are called. I remember was it Zatatech? What did they call them? Zat guns? The little.
Yeah,
They were like
something.
snake-like
Yeah.
things, whatever. That could use one shot stuns, two shots kills, three shots disintegrates the body.
And yeah,
But
I mean, mostly, yeah. Like the story
but that
was,
wasn't in the movie. That was not
yeah.
in the movie.
No,
Sorry.
what they, I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, honestly, I think at this point, spoilers are kind of beside the point. I mean, so yeah, they bring a nuke and blow up whoever at the end, the bad guy at the end, but that's not
Oh
the end
yeah,
of it. Yeah,
they're sending. So Ra sends, I think, soldiers down to for his other soldiers, and when they see the rings pop open, they shove the nuke in where the rings come down,
yeah,
and they send it up to the ship, and it blows up in orbit. It was
yeah,
spectacular. And then they actually did figure out how to get back home, and Daniel asked to stay because he fell in love with Sharae, which was his wife. And so then O'Neill reported that Jackson was killed in the line of duty or MIA or something. I
yeah.
think he said killed because when SG1 the show started, I I think that was kind of a comment that was made, kind of an aside, like, you know what, if we didn't need you right now, you'd be court-martialed, O'Neill.
Well,
But
I will say it's every nerd's dream, right? I mean, you don't have to do anything. You just end up married and to a hot chick, and that's it. Every nerdy guy's dream, you know. You don't have to do any. There's no wooing. You're just automatically married to some hot chick. Uh,
automatically, um,
well,
just a minute.
through through a social miscue.
I had there's a couple of trivia type things too. So fast forward to SG1 starts, and they swap out Kurt Russell for Richard Dean Anderson. I was like, oh, you changed the actors, but I mean, I love MacGyver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. I mean, and it was funny because MacGyver was like anti-using guns. Well, I mean, he used a gun once. He took it apart and used the parts.
Yep.
Or maybe he might have done it more than once. I don't know. But anyways, so I loved him. And then I think they introduced not Colonel, General Hammond. Do you remember the bald guy?
Yeah.
Whatever
Yep.
from. Do you remember the show MacGyver? Did you ever watch that?
I vaguely, I mean, I don't remember it
So
episode
I
for
don't remember
episode, but
much of it,
yeah.
but I think MacGyver had some relationship with a guy, an older guy who was bald, whatever. Well, the guy who played General Hammond was a double for that actor on
No.
MacGyver. So,
Coincidence.
uh, and then what the show? Oh shoot, just a second here. Uh, get my light back on here with my computer. Okay,
We gotta
so
get you a ring light like mine.
yeah, I know. But anyway, as the show progressed, they would bring in like guest stars and stuff like that, and it was filmed in Canada. So a lot of shows that were filmed in Canada, like X Files, Supernatural, Stargate, Farscape, whatever. I was Farscape filmed there. I mean, a
I
couple of their
think
actors came over.
so.
But anyways,
That actor
I
was in some of the Stargate episodes. What was his name again?
Ben
John.
Bro- John Crichton from Farscape. He was
Yeah, what was the
Ben
actor's name?
Browder is his
Yeah,
name.
Ben Browder.
Ben
Yeah,
Browder.
he was in
And then
some Stargate
so
episodes.
then him and Claudia Black came over to Stargate after Farscape finished up, and Richard Dean Anderson stepped back. He would do like guest appearances as a general.
Excuse me.
Another actor that God dang it, I can't think of her name. Is it Jewel? So Firefly. We talked about
Oh,
Firefly,
Jewel
right?
State. Yeah, who played
Jewel,
the technology
the
girl, the
the
engineer.
mechanic.
God, I
Yeah,
can't remember her name,
she
but Jewel State's the name of the
she
actress. Yeah.
she joined Stargate Atlantis in later seasons when their doctor was lost. She came in as a new doctor, and I was like, I'm so happy to see her working. And then Stargate SG-1, their doctor died in the line of duty, and they brought a new doctor who was played by, and I can't think of the actress's name, but are you familiar with the show Andromeda?
Yeah, I've seen a few episodes. I haven't seen the whole thing, but
So
yeah.
that show that like they had like the ship the Andromeda, and the ship had an avatar, which was like a robot, hot girl, whatever, and it was her. It was her. She that actress came over as the doctor for SG-1. So I think it's always kind of fun to watch how a lot of these shows have like these connections with actors and sometimes I don't really pay attention to like the writers or directors, but I think a lot of them also work on multiple shows like that. But
So I mean, basically, kind of to describe, each of I mean, there's really only 3 TV shows. SG-1, I guess you'd kind of say, is kind of more of an adventure. It's more,
lighthearted.
yeah, lighthearted comedy. There's a lot of comedy because I think,
After the first 2 episodes, it's like all the aliens speak English or they don't speak at all.
yeah, well, yeah.
It's like
And then Atlantis. What was the premise of that one? That was
so
the
that
one
one
where
was I did they need an extra chevron for that? No, I think they needed the extra chevron for something else in SG-1. But they discovered the velocity of Atlantis uh, in what was the galaxy it was in? But anyways, they didn't have the power to power the Stargate to connect.
Mhm.
So they ended up getting what they called a 0 point module, which was created by a race of beings called the Ancients, who basically all the technology that we had been gathering was primarily left over from them. They disappeared, and that's another story. But they disappeared at one point and left behind all this stuff.
Sorry.
So they found a 0 point module that could power the Stargate to connect to Atlantis. When they got to Atlantis, it was submerged and running out of power, and like critical systems were failing and stuff, and they could not gate back to Earth.
Okay.
So they all went knowing that they might not be able to ever get back. And so then the show, I think, had 5 seasons. They had to figure out how to keep the ship running and stuff, and sometimes they had to make decisions kind of like I think there were a couple times they made decisions like the Star Trek Voyager episode we discussed where they found that other uh, ship that was
Yep.
killing that race, whatever, for energy or something. But so they had those kind of decisions to make sometimes, and it was very similar to SG-1, but they had different characters like Aquaman. Crap! I just had his name on.
Jason Momoa.
Yeah, Jason Momoa. God, that guy must be just living large now. I mean, I see him in like ads for like Monopoly Go and stuff. He's just having fun.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. So uh, that show also they brought a couple characters over that they introduced in SG-1, like Doctor McKay, and he had a crush on Samantha Carter, who makes some cameos, and they had crossovers between the two shows.
Mhm.
But then you go on to Stargate Universe, and yes, they had a little bit of levity, but it was primarily like like a drama with some action sprinkled in.
It was
wasn't
darker,
necessarily,
yeah. It was
yeah,
darker in
and
nature, and it was more. They had a
and
lot more conflict, a lot more
yeah.
character
Oh,
conflict.
the interperson. You know, we talked about with like the Voyager when the Maquis and the Voyager crew
They
integrated.
didn't really
It
show
seemed to
it.
happen.
Yeah,
It happened like overnight.
yeah.
In this show, I'm trying to remember. I think they were terrorists that. So they were on a planet trying to figure out how to, like, I don't know, get that ninth chevron activated without killing everybody on the planet or whatever. And then the planet's attacked by terrorists. And
The Lucian Alliance.
was it the Lucian
Yep,
Alliance?
the Lucian
Okay.
Alliance. Yeah.
And then people with the planet going critical, somehow they managed to like
To get to
uh,
Destiny.
pow-
Yeah,
to
Destiny.
get to the ship, the Destiny, which was on the other side of the universe or whatever, which was also a ship built by ancients before they built like Atlantis. They built they built like two ships. One was a ship that went out in advance and planted stargates on different worlds,
It was a
and
seed
then there was
ship. Yep.
another, yeah, as a seed ship, and then there was another ship like the Destiny that was following it, and there was a stargate on that ship that they could go to. And I'm assuming that if I remember correctly, I think they discovered that the ancients had done this in like different directions. You know, so there's like multiple pairs of ships.
They had come. So
So
their Stargate, it would come into range of different planets,
yeah,
and then they could kind of decide. That show
yeah,
was different, but yeah, because the thing was, they actually had almost a three-way battle going on. They had the scientists under Dr. Rush. They had Colonel Young, who
military.
was the military, and then they had
The Lucian
Camille,
Alliance.
Camille
Oh,
Ray.
Camille.
Well, no, it was Camille Ray
Oh,
was the HR person, and she was trying to get the
yeah,
civilians, and they were like trying to tell her, they're like, she's
yeah,
like, I'm not sure which camp is the better one, and they're like, well, maybe you should start your own camp. So they kind of had like for a
yeah.
little while, they kind of had like a three-way sort
Well,
of
and then
thing, but
they added the Lucian Alliance to the mix too at one point. But
yep.
I have to say I'm disappointed they didn't do at least one more season. I really
I
feel
think
it
a
would
lot
be
of people
great to get
were, yeah, I think a lot of
if
people
we could
were
get a
upset.
wrap up to that show,
It's a
kind of
little.
like with Firefly and Serenity, you know, maybe a movie or something. I don't know. Stargate SG-1 had two movies. They had um, do I have it in here? Yeah, it was the Arc of Truth and Continuum, I think.
Okay.
But I think yeah. Anyways, but what a great show! You know, what a great several shows. You know, I just I've
Lots of
seen them
great
all multiple
characters. Yeah,
times.
lots of great
Yeah.
characters. Great story. They really do a lot to like. I think they really promoted the military, which is good, and I think they got a lot of people like a lot of people were kind of inspired to like go on and actually really go join the Air Force or really go become a scientist or something
Mhm.
based upon what they grew up watching, which I think is always a good thing for the most part.
I, can I ask you a question, Mike?
Sure.
When we talked Star Trek at one point, we were talking about transporting and how it kills you
Well,
and then
that's
rebuilds a different you, right?
um
Does Does the Stargate do the same thing?
I honestly, I mean, so this is the thing, the difference. In the transporter, you kind of only experience a few seconds of whatever, but in the Stargate, you
Dematerialization.
supposedly feel like you're going through like a tube or whatever, and you're kind of.
Yeah, they show you the visual.
So
I
that
was
might
just
be
thinking of that
different.
too just now, like because as I'm thinking about it, as you mentioned that, uh,
I actually disagree with that. That's
stepping.
actually something that other friends of ours believe.
Well,
I
let me
disagree.
say this real
Yeah, go
quick.
ahead. Yeah.
What you said kind of sparked this thought where in the say with the transporter on Star Trek, it dematerializes you here, rematerializes you there. And the only well, I guess maybe it's not any different though, because what I was picturing with the Stargate was you step into it, you convert it to energy, and then you experience transporting and being rebuilt at the other end of the Stargate. Well, you don't necessarily remember the experience about being rebuilt, I'm guessing, because this just happens so fast. But with like the transporters, I guess technically it's the same thing. You're converted into energy, and that's transmitted to a receiver, which then
So
rebuilds you on the other side.
you're remembering a theory that. So we have other friends who actually believe what you just said. I have a different theory. Let me ask you a question. When you go to sleep every night and you wake up, are you the same person exactly? You might have the memories, but you're slightly even. And the other thing too is like even what do they say? Every 5 years or whatever, all of the cells in your body are completely new
For real.
cells. Like right every 5 years, just naturally your cells are all new cells. And like I would argue, like the whole sleep thing, like you lose we all lose consciousness from around anywhere between 6 to 9 hours, depending on the person. You lose consciousness every single night, and you come back, you wake up. Now you remember your life before that, but are you the same person? My argument is no. And the thing is this, I don't think you would remember. So I'd say like just the argument for both maybe the Stargate and the transporter is you might be on the cellular level, like you might be a new person, but I don't think it's any different than like, going to sleep and waking up and you're slightly different, or having all your cells in your body completely being replaced, which naturally again, naturally every 5 years most people, all the including your brain cells, everything else, that's all new. Like that's all new stuff. So my argument is I think it's all relative, right? And the other thing is this too, maybe consciousness is an illusion. Maybe you think you're conscious and you think that you have this sense of identity and self-awareness about who you are, but maybe it's all made up. Maybe it's not a real thing. Maybe you think that you know that, but you don't
There,
actually.
there is a. I sometimes will watch various like astronomy videos on YouTube or whatever, and there's a couple different channels I usually watch, but one of them was mentioned a theory that our universe is just like some kind of like a I was going to say VR kind of experience. It was like some kind of computing thing from a higher level, like
Sure.
or other dimension of space. I think in the theory they had like 9 or more dimensions or so, and they kept reiterating this is a theory,
Sure.
But what if us, we think, therefore we are, right? That's what we believe.
Ergo
But what
ergo
if?
cogito sum is Latin for it. I think, therefore I
Okay,
am. Yeah,
so
ergo cogito sum. Sorry, I'm showing off
but
here.
but in the theory, yeah. Shut up. Just drink.
Shut up, nerd. No, just kidding. Take your nerd stuff somewhere else.
Yeah, get this Stargate stuff that I love with all my heart out of my face. But no, so they were saying though in the theory, even though we think we're conscious, we're not really. We're
Yeah.
just part of a program. So is
It's
that kind of what
possible.
you were kind of,
It can
you
be
know?
that could be it too. I mean, I'm just saying this. I just think there's so many things out there that to argue that you get if you go through the transporter you die and come back as something else. It's like
Okay, you first.
it's like technically you die anyways and come back as something else. I mean, it's like the argument doesn't hold water to me because there's so many other ways in which that already sort of happened. Again, if you just want to talk about like your body, for instance, yeah, technically every 5 years, your cells, every part of your body is a new part. So you could argue, well, do you think you're dying every 5 years? No, no one thinks that because it slowly happens. So what's the difference between if it slowly happens or if it happens all at once? I don't know. Does it really make? I mean, and the thing is, the other thing too, like the sleep thing I mentioned, which is, a lot of people don't think about it, but what is what exactly? This is the thing too. We don't 100% understand what happens when we go to sleep and we wake up. We know we lose consciousness. You can dream, some people dream and you can think whatever you want about that necessarily. But, it happens to everyone. And are you the same person when you wake up? I don't know. You could argue maybe you're not the same person. You're a person that remembers what happened to the other person, but and that kind of goes back to the thing, like what is consciousness, what is self-awareness, what is identity, what are we, and those are important questions. So I would argue, before anyone wants to say, well, you go in the transporter, it destroys you and you come back as someone else, like, are you really someone else? I don't know. You're another person that remembers everything exactly the same. It doesn't seem that crazy to me. I mean, I don't know. I would do it. I would do it.
Two things that I wanted to comment on. So first off, starting next week, Mike and I are going to be doing a live video chat with everybody to interpret your dreams.
We are? Damn it!
So,
Damn
yes.
it! I'm not ready. I'm not ready for this.
And then the second thing, I can remember it, is so. You mentioned when you go to sleep and you black out or whatever.
Yeah, you lose
and then
consciousness.
You wake up,
yeah.
Are you a different person or not? I believe that, and I think this is more kind of like a logical thing. So as we move through time, we have experiences, and those experiences I think do alter us. And I think sometimes dreams can kind of help with that too, but. So I think because you went to bed at say 10 p.m. you get up at 6 a.m. Time has passed. You have had some experiences. I mean, I think doesn't everybody dream and maybe they just don't remember it.
Some people are more likely to remember than not.
But
yeah.
But I mean, it's like, so if you're having those experiences, because sometimes I have those, and I wake up and I won the lottery and I'm like, wait.
Is that what you dream about?
Where's all my stuff? No, yeah, I've had similar dreams to that, I know, but or flying or whatever. But I think our dreams help us, process information and stuff.
Sure.
This is way off from Stargate. Actually, no. Stargate SG-1, they had actual episodes where they had a machine that managed your dreams, and you could link with other people and do a multiplayer online game.
Let me just ask you a very basic question, because we already know my answer is yes. If you had a chance to either go through a Stargate or get it doesn't really matter which one, whichever one you want to pick here. If you had the chance to go through one of those devices, and my answer is yes already, so we don't even have to talk about me about it. What would you do if you had the chance and they're like, here's your chance, Thom. Go through the Stargate. You'll end up somewhere else. What would you're to be like?
First off, I would say, okay, so we got door number 1 and number 2. One as a Stargate, one as a transporter.
I mean, if you think they're that different, but I think we already kind of said that they're kind of the same.
I don't think they're any different. I'd go for either.
Okay, you would do yes then. Okay.
Yeah, no, I would. I mean, so I guess not to get into faith and stuff like that, but my belief is if I die, that's my time to die. Because everything
Sure.
is appointed a time to be born, time to die, etc. So if I'm gonna die because of the transporter, I mean it's not. Oh, then again, there's suicide. But I mean, was that your appointed time to die? I don't know. But maybe
I
you're just part of a cosmic program and it doesn't matter.
I mean, yeah, all I could say is, yeah, if you gave me the chance to do either of those things, I mean, we have friends who are like, oh, it would destroy your body. You're dead. You wouldn't have, that wouldn't be you. That's just a copy of you. I would just argue, what's not like you said, every single moment, like as as we passage through time, we are a different every single second, every millisecond, however you want to divide the time sections up, we're a different person. So yeah, I would argue too. And also,
Okay.
so if anyone's watching this, tell us in the comments. Tell us in the comments what you think. If you think it's a horrible idea and you'd be destroyed, tell us that. Argue with us. We want it.
Yeah.
We want the discussion.
Lay on the hate.
Yeah, lay on the hate.
Real quick, I just thought of something. So in Star Trek Next Gen, I think it was season 1. The episode was called Symbiosis, and
Is that the one with the black goo at the end?
nope,
Oh,
That's
that
the
was
episode-
Skin of Evil. Yeah, you're right. That was a different one. Skin of Evil.
which was Tasha Yar's last episode that she filmed. The actress.
Big mistake.
Symbiosis was the last one that she filmed.
Big mistake
but
for that
anyways,
actress, by the way. Big. She realized it later.
Well, there was a lot of tension on the set at the time, but anyways, that's another story.
Yeah.
So I think I figured out if I had to choose to transport via Stargate or transporter, I think I'd go with the transporter because in that episode, Symbiosis, they transported these people onto the ship that supposedly had some kind of virus that was causing them to need addictive drugs.
Yep, the drug one.
Provided
Yeah.
by the other planet. But anyways, when they transported onto the ship and Picard found out about the possible contagion, I think he looked at Riker and was like, didn't that get filtered out in the transporter? And Riker's like, I don't know, sun flares. Because the sun had a bunch of sun flare activity. But anyways,
that was a good episode.
so my that was one of the better episodes of this first season. But my point there was they were able to filter things out. So if I'm not healthy, why don't I just go through the transporter and have them filter things out?
Well, I think for the most part they could, but there were obviously as a plot device, they every so often they had things like, for example, in the second season, if you remember Pulaski, they found that disease that aged you prematurely that could not be filtered by the transporter. So Pulaski and Data got in that shuttle and she purposefully infected herself, but they were able to use her pattern from before. So they couldn't filter it out like normal, like the normal filtration process wasn't going to work, but they were able to use like a pattern of her from before to get her. So that's the thing. It's with the transporters, it's always a plot device. I mean, let's be honest here. It's always something.
Yeah.
If they need it to work for the plot, it works. If they don't need it to work for the plot, it doesn't work. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, so they have some, or if you just want to look at it, yeah, they have some diseases and illnesses that cannot be filtered out by the transport. But yeah, for the most part, they can filter out normal diseases and stuff like that. But all right, so yeah, I mean, we're kind of getting close here. So Stargate, if you want us to do another thing about it, go ahead.
Yeah, or if you want, like, say, a specific
one of the franchises,
like SG-1, Atlantis, or Universe, or even go more in depth on the movie, whatever.
Definitely.
There's a role-playing game that Mike played.
Yeah, we played like 3 times. Yep, we did. I did play a Stargate I played a Stargate character. I mean, it was okay. I believe it was based on at the time it was based on the Dungeons and Dragons 3.5. It was very similar to 3, or I guess I would say D20 Modern is probably more what it was based on.
Okay,
The same,
yeah.
but same system as Dungeons and Dragons 3.5. Yeah, it was okay. I mean, I'm sorry that it didn't go for it.
Work out,
It kind of
yeah.
just didn't. I don't know. I think it just
It wasn't
people
the game;
involved.
it was like the
The
people.
people, yeah. You know how? I mean, let's be honest here. You and I have been through a lot of games. Scheduling will kill a campaign faster than
Oh,
anything else.
yeah.
You got different people, and
Right.
everyone's are like, "No, I can't play," and it's like, okay, well, that's kind of the end then, I guess. But all right, so yeah, if you liked what you saw tonight, please comment, like, subscribe, even more importantly, or share.
Or share. Yeah.
Yeah, share the videos if you like what you saw. You know, again, if you want us to try a drink, or you want us to talk about a science fiction or fantasy type genre thing that Tom and I feel competent enough to talk. I mean, if it's something we don't know anything about, we may have to look into it more before we do anything. But we'll try. I mean, yeah, just send us ideas. We're open to it. Any last thoughts, Tom?
If we like them, if we like your ideas, we'll take them.
Yeah, if we can do them, yeah.
I'm kidding.
But any
No,
final thoughts or anything else you want to bring up?
You know, Monaco's, like we said earlier, Monaco's worth a shot. Check out any of the Stargate stuff. I will say, if you're not, say, familiar with like Stargate SG-1, you can watch Stargate Atlantis, but you might be missing some stuff. So, but Universe, all you just kind of have to know is, I mean, basically, you don't even have to know anything about the previous shows except the basic premise of the Stargate, whatever, because the show kind of goes off on its own. I guess they do have communication with Earth, so
yeah, they
with
have
some of
they have the
pre-
stones, those stones that
yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
they can go back to Earth
But,
in someone else's body. Yeah.
yeah, they have this ancient communication device where you put a stone on this device and it psychically connects you to somebody on a paired device on another planet or wherever. So what they do is they just body swap.
And
with those
the
devices.
distance doesn't seem to matter at all. You could
No.
even be in a different universe or different galaxy or whatever, and it still
And,
works.
and when you come back, you might be stabbed. Just,
It
I
could-
don't know. Just saying.
anything
No
could happen.
spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers. And all right, guys. Yeah, if you like what you saw, you want to see more, just let us know. And yeah, I would say, nothing else. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.